This week's throwback review, Mystery Men, came out August 6, 1999. For this throwback review, it's just going to be me and Nick. Our third guy had an emergency, so he had to leave, so he couldn't give his amazing opinion review of Mystery Men, so it's just going to be us two. So yes, this is, by definition, a total 90s movie. Everything in this movie has somewhat decent graphics to awful graphics, somewhat decent character design to just laughable character design. Soundtrack has that total, like, yep, that's total soundtrack of the 90s, or yeah, that's what someone thought up in the 90s. They're trying to bring disco back, I felt. The bad guys were disco-esque guys, like Big Tony 1 or Fat Tony 1 and 2, and they got the disco thing. They're regular guys is what they are. They're regular dudes. They're hanging out at like the diner. They want to be the superhero guy, which by the way is a total sellout. His entire suit is all like NASCAR'd out with logos and product placement and sponsors. And Jeffrey Rush is a bad guy that's got a little pinky claw thing that he hisses when he comes at you with, and it's so stupid. It's the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Everything about this movie is awful, but yeah, I can't look away.
I really wasn't wanting to watch this movie when it was chosen as the throwback for this week, but I always go into movies with an open mind. I want to enjoy them, I want to have fun, I want to laugh at the comedies, I want to be on the edge of my seat at the action movies, and I want to cry in the dramas. But with that being said, this movie was a complete waste of my time. I want to say that there's potential in this story. The characters were intriguing, and I feel that if it would have been written differently and they would have went for a different, I can't even say style of humor. I don't even know what style of humor this was. Bad humor? If they would have actually put some good punchlines in there and had some good zingers and not just go for low-hanging fruit that doesn't work, this movie could have been good. The idea of a city that actually has superheroes, but most of them are lame and fight with shovels, sounds like a great idea. It sounds like a fun underdog story. That's not what this was. This was 2 hours of me throwing my hands up in the air and going, what the hell am I watching? That was one of the dumbest lines I've ever seen. I think I've said that like 15, 20 times during the course of this movie. There was literally, and I mean this very literally, one line I laughed at. One. The Sphinx makes a comment about running away that made me chuckle. And I actually said, okay, I'll give that one credit. But the rest of the movie, I didn't laugh at all.
I love Ben Stiller. I think he's a funny guy. And this one, he's like, you don't like me when I'm gonna get angry. And he like starts thrashing on things, but really he's like throwing a tantrum. You're a grown-ass man hitting a car because reasons. The Blue Raja, everyone was like, oh, that's you because his name's Jeffrey. And and you're gonna live with your mom forever because the mom is like, Jeffrey, here's some special forks. And he's like, throws the forks. William H. Macy's the shoveler. God gave me a gift. I can shovel dirt good. Like, those were the lines of the movie. I'm not even making this up. You gotta watch it to believe it. I feel if you were drunk or you just had like a crap ton of friends, you're like, hey, let's put this bullshit on and just rip it apart. We'll have a good time. The story is very, very basic. It's basic with like a dash of a conceptual idea of the bad guy and good guy don't want to do it anymore, and they kind of have a little sit down to discuss, but then the bad guy's like, oh, I lied, I still want to be the bad guy and rule our shitty, awful city. They even have a superhero that doesn't believe in violence. Everything about him is a non-lethal weapon, a non-lethal vehicle. I really feel there's like 3 of them that actually do have like a power. The spleen kind of can like shoot farts and make fart things happen afar. Kel, I forgot his name. He goes invisible, but you can't look at him. So it's like you have to like not look at him, but then he does go invisible, and then he's like, I'm invisible, can you see me? And he's all naked and shit. The bowler, she doesn't really have a power except a possessed, cursed bowling ball with her dad's skull in it. They actually have power, and power. Everyone else just has a skill, and then you've got your hodgepodge of characters.
I was bored, extremely bored. I haven't had that happen in a movie in a very, very long time. And I think the weirdness of this movie is that normally when a movie's that bad, it becomes good. You look at it and you enjoy making fun of it and laughing at it. Not laughing with it, but laughing at it. This didn't even get that. I had no desire to laugh at this movie. I just wanted to stop watching it. And that is really bad. Really, really bad.
Now, granted, yes, it's no DC movie, it's no Marvel movie, it's no kind of out-of-the-blue graphic novel mashup, but given the time in the 90s, it worked. If this movie came out today with those exact standards, It'd be like a 2. I give it a 3 just because I was laughing, so I would give it a 3. It just, nothing worked. You're watching this, you're just kind of like, this is like a bunch of college guys. This was their final project to graduate, and that's the best they could do. They are studying this profession. That was the best they could do.
I am surprised this movie is remembered in a positive light. I went into this movie being told it's a great comedy, and granted, the people that told me that watched it again and didn't enjoy it as much as they did when they were younger, so maybe that's the key. Maybe if I would have watched this in the 90s, because it is very 90s, I would have enjoyed it. But watching it now, not worth it. There are so many better superhero comedies and superhero movies that you can watch nowadays that this one just deserves to be tossed. I give this movie a 1 out of 10. It's for the one joke I laughed at. It gets 1 point for that. That's it. This movie was a complete waste of time.
We'll give it a 4. Mike brings up a point. I'll be generous. I'll give it a 4 for laughter. That's it. Just for the fact of that I laughed. And it's stupid. It's the stupidest. Oh my god, dude. So, besides giving suggestions of throwbacks to do, curious to know if you could be a mystery man, because they have a lineup in the movie where they're needing to get people on their team. Dane Cook is in this. He's the waffler. And then you have the PMS Avenger who only works 3 days out of the month. The question is, if you could be a mystery man or like a superhero, what would your name be and what would your power be? Just throw that down there. No, you can't pick flying because that's... No, you can pick what you want. Just kidding. You can pick whatever you want. I'd pick spider sense just because that'd be sick to know when shit's going to happen. You'd be like, go on ahead and like this video, favorite it, subscribe to that channel. By doing that, you get more throwback reviews like this, movie reviews, plus unboxing videos, other shenanigans doing the daily and weekly. And remember, guys, you heard it here at The Source, the most non-lethal throwback.